That was so whack. This lady's walking barefoot. You hear that shit? It's like, I don't even know. So to pick up where I left off, I ended up getting a 2003 Nissan Xterra and some more thoughts and stuff that I have to share. It's so fucked up. So my girlfriend made me promise that I would get a mechanic to look at the vehicle before I purchase it, whatever vehicle it is. And after doing all this research on vehicles and learning all these values and seeing reviews and all this different stuff, right? Like, I even bought a code reader at O'Reilly's, thinking, oh, I'll just plug this sucker in and I'm gonna know, like I'm doing a thorough diagnostic. I don't need a mechanic. Why? It's all good, right? No. So we go. She likes the Xterra. You know, there's already a big stack of service records and all these things being done to it within the last 10,000 miles, but I'll get to that later. That's more of what I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to purchasing a used vehicle, you know. Anyway, so this 2003 Nissan Xterra has 188,000 miles on it, but it runs like a champ. Well, okay, I plugged it in and the code showed that there was this thing called the knock sensor that needed to be replaced. I thought the code was reset and that's why the check engine light wasn't on. And it ended up that knock sensor is a big issue. Like 6 hours of labor plus the parts and whatever else they see while they're in there, because they have to get back behind the manifold, like underneath it and behind or something like that, which is the top part of the engine. It's crazy. Okay, so it's a lot of work. I didn't know. I was thinking like, oh, it's an O2 sensor, like you just kind of unscrew it from wherever it's at and then just like screw a new one in. Well, yeah, in essence you do, but to access it, it's a whole different story. So there's that. And oh yeah, so the check engine light didn't come on. No, not because the code was reset for the computer or whatever. No. It was because the check engine light diodes were burnt out on the gauge cluster, so I had to get a new gauge cluster. So the big thing is, if you're not a mechanic, like, I want to do everything myself. Obviously, I'm trying to become a fucking billionaire, you know. And we're gonna see how far I can get, whatever, you know. Like, this is just fun for me. I want to have fun in my life, and I want to become a fucking billionaire while I'm doing it. But with this attitude also comes some weaknesses, and you know, I think it's good to identify that. And so me thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna go look at it myself and save the money and get the knowledge and everything. Yeah, that's what I want to do. But man, I need to be a little more sure, I think. Not I think, like, just maybe listening to other people too would be a great idea. That I should find out why they're so confident in what they're talking about. Because if I went and had a mechanic look at it, $50 for the diagnostic, even if it was more, then we would have known what the issues were. And so right after I got this Xterra home, I took it to the mechanic to get it smogged and everything. And in the state of Nevada, you can't have a check engine light on, check engine code or nothing. It has to work. That all has to be kosher. That all has to work. Plus the emissions have to pass. So take it to the mechanic, and it didn't pass smog, of course, and they started talking about the issues that I was having. So I said, okay, well, how much is it going to be? Well, they told me this huge amount, like more than what I paid for the vehicle. And I was like, oh no, it wasn't just the knock sensor, it was like the EGR valve, the vacuum system needed to be rerouted or something like that, and there was another part of the EGR valve, I forgot what that was called, but it was just like all this work, and then it added up to all this money. And I told them, I said, okay, I'm just gonna come and get my vehicle and I'll figure this out. They said, whoa, hold on, this is the mechanic I'm talking about. I said, hold on, we'll give you a call back, see what we can do. So they called me back. They basically slashed the price in half. And I said, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. Let's do it. So now I already spent money on top of what I purchased for the vehicle, which was to be expected, but not as expected as what was going on, because if they didn't hook me up with that deal, then I would have been figuring this out. And that leads me to the other part of what I was talking about. What I wanted to say to everybody in this video was, okay, so I also promised my girlfriend, I don't think I said I promise, but you know, I gave my word, and that's just as good as saying I promise. And that's a big thing, you know, just like sticking by your word. So I first broke the promise of having a mechanic look at it, because I was like, I'm the mechanic. No, fucked up, okay? So I have like total egg on my face, and she's been cool about it, but knows that I've learned my lesson from this. And it's fine, you know, I can be accountable for my fuck ups, and that's, everybody else should too. But here's the second thing. I was like, I don't want to buy any vehicles that are going to be projects and stuff like that, and I'm not used to buying used vehicles. All right, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get one that's all dependable and all that. And what I found out now is that vehicles that are used are gonna need work. You know, I probably never should have said that. Like, I don't want any projects. I should have. Now I would say, okay, well, I'm gonna look for the most reliable vehicle that I can, which I thought I was anyway. But I wouldn't say I'm not gonna get any projects, because I feel like everything that's used is gonna be a project, unless you go get some kind of a vehicle lease, which my cousin can help you out with. Just get a hold of me. And I'm serious. Now I'm kind of wishing that I did do that, because he had a Toyota 2020. Okay, so today is January 31st, 2020. He last week advertised on Facebook that he has a 2020 Toyota Corolla that for lease for $170 a month. So if I took all of my settlement and then just like banked it, and then just pulled the money out every month that I needed for that lease, I would have had a new car. All right, granted, I love this Xterra a lot. It's a lot, like, it's great. But I'm just saying, you know, maybe it would have been a better decision to be more open-minded to a lease and everything, and contact him. And I might have been driving a brand new car that isn't a project. But that's the second thing, you know, I gave my word that I was like, I don't want any projects. I don't want to buy anything that's a project. For a month she was hearing this. And I ended up buying into a project. So, you know, sometimes we say things and we think it's one way and it's another, but maybe just don't talk too much if you're talking to your girlfriend or something like that about the shit that you're having to do that's stressful, like buying a vehicle. You know, they got, I don't know, girls are emotional. So, two things. When you make a promise, especially if your girlfriend might know what she's talking about, or your wife or whatever, just pay attention to that. You know, you make the promise, stay with it. It would have been $50 and we would have been in better shape. And there's nothing, she's not really throwing it in my face, but she did a couple times, and like, it was well deserved. So there's that. And the second thing is, all these used vehicles are going to be a project. So I guarantee, I mean, they're going to need, you get a used vehicle with 100,000 or more miles on it, it's going to need stuff. Unless they can prove, and you know the vehicle very well, like you have some kind of a manual or something like that, and you can prove, or they can prove with the service records, that all the maintenance has been completed. That's hold on, I'm in my taxi. I'm actually at work right now, but I like to work while I'm working, and I have fun doing this anyway, so it's cool. All right, there. But all these vehicles are going to need work, and especially something with like 188,000 miles on it. Yeah, whatever, it's dependable, but you're talking about like clutch, brakes, tires, like all these things, little things that are just like, you know, little things that are broken too, like the locks are kind of messed up, like one door, I can get it to lock, but it's not working right with the system and all that. So anyhow, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about in this one first, and I want to make more videos about this Xterra. I'm very excited to get this, and about learning more about how to be a proper mechanic. So, because I really love it, and that's why I wanted to jump into it, but I need some kind of training or something like that, or just need to start studying my ass off a lot more and digging into it with things that don't really matter. Like if I had a second project vehicle, I got motorcycles, so I can mess with those a lot, make some videos about that too. But yeah, in this one I just wanted to talk about the car buying experience, what I got, and the mistakes that I made.